Good morning.
Good morning.
What a week you've had. Or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. My good Lord, the woman's been everywhere. Poor thing. We're trying to kill her.
But we're back.
Yay. And we are back with an amazing topic. So, good morning and welcome everyone to The Dark Roast. I'm Donna Stroll and I'm here with the always lovely and talented Rose Short. And today's awesome topic is all about recurring income. All right.
Yeah.
So if you've ever wanted to sort of stop chasing the money, having to restart from zero every month or whatever, where you're constantly having to get that next sale or you've got diddly squat in your bank account, you want to wake up to money because that's part of the deal, right? We always talk about waking up to money. This is how you do it, right? You start building out that recurring income because that is where you're going to get the stability that you want. That's where you're going to actually start building that income instead of constantly trying to chase it. And that's huge for those of us who do online marketing, affiliate marketing. This is where you really want to start building out that side of things. It's fine to have those one-off sales, but you really do want to start building out that recurring income.
Yeah, that's a lot of the reasons I put a lot more energy in the last year or so into content creating versus the marketing itself, because getting paid for that content every month is really, really nice, especially without having to be like, oh, follow me, click the link in my bio, check this out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Not to say that you can't do that as well to build recurring income, but there's a couple different ways that you can build recurring income. The global subscription e-commerce market is projected to hit 904.2 billion by 2026, according to you. I don't know what that's according to, actually.
Unidatos is actually
Okay.
good with that because I was like, that seems like a big number. And I was, all right, let's check that stat.
Yeah, so lots and lots of money, right? I mean, I remember about 6 or 7 months ago, there was a guy who the whole thing was selling people how to start subscription boxes for really cheap, or digital coloring subscriptions for really, really cheap. So there's definitely a market for it, right? And subscriptions are really easy because it's set and forget. And so when you look at things like Bones Coffee or even Melaleuca or any of those recurring household needs, if you're getting any small kickback from that, from stuff people are already buying, and now you're putting it on a subscription that makes it a lot easier, you've simplified their life and you're getting a little kickback in return. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and there's lots of different ways you can do it. And it can be your physical products, it can be your digital products, it can be your service, right? So there's plenty of ways that you can do it. And the reason why it's a game changer really is because one-off sales equals one commission, and so it's awesome. Even if it's a great, you're making $2,000 per commission, you're still going to be hustling every time because that $2,000, that's like a one-time lump sum payment. Here you go. It's like, awesome, thanks. And then it's gone, right? So if you've got something that's less money, but it's recurring and you've got 10 of those people, you make 10 sales in a month. That's awesome. You've made a lot of money. But if you make 10 sales in a month of a recurring, you're not chasing that money again the next month or, how subscription-based businesses grow 5 to 8 times faster than your traditional retail, which is also kind of nice, right? Because,
Yep.
that growth means more opportunities for you as an affiliate. And, that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, lifetime value, right? So if a subscriber stays for 12 months, typically, that's your commission times 12 for one person. Now, of course, there's going to be fallout, right? Eventually, a year or two down the road, most people do tend to drop off subscriptions that maybe no longer serve their purpose, or maybe they're moving and so they have to cancel it for now or something like that. And maybe where they're going, that service isn't available. So there is, of course, a turnover rate even with subscriptions, but it's significantly smaller than with like big ticket subscriptions. And I think a big ticket commission is kind of like real estate. where it's like, you sell the house, it finally closes, and you get that nice big check, and everyone's like, oh, that was an easy, $10,000. And except for the 9 months of showing the buyer houses and all the driving and all the headache and the early morning calls and the calling the lender and making sure everything's moving forward, there's a lot more involved. So each big commission is kind of like that, where you get done, it's like, okay, cool, next client, next client, next client, and you're starting the process over. Whereas with this one, they're usually a smaller value. So it's easier to get people to buy in. And then again, over time, you end up potentially making more than just that single, big ticket item. And then you also have them in your ecosystem. So if something else cool comes up that kind of goes hand in hand with it, you can share it with them. So it gives you stability with that person as well as trust. And then, yeah, it does help you grow from those two things.
Yeah. And so it's not like you get a few subscribers and then you just stop, right? You're going to continue to promote what you're doing. So you're adding more. And the goal is to add more than you lose. And, physical subscription boxes. So those are things like beauty, lifestyle, a hobby. I've seen them now for art, which is very interesting, whether it's brushes or different paints or something like that. Those are in high demand. So, subscription boxes, what does it say here? iMark Group, it says that it hit 28.2 billion in 2021, grown since then. And it does continue to grow. The growth has slowed marginally, but it's still growing, which is huge. So that's another one. And some have faster churns than other. You'll find that things like food subscription boxes, they're about 3 months.
Yeah.
But other subscriptions where they're smaller items maybe or something like that, or clothing, they tend to go a lot longer, especially if your subscription has an opportunity for them to skip a month or something like that, because then they feel like they're more in control. I know you feel like you're more in control, right? And then there's other subscriptions. Netflix is a subscription, right? You can, and people pay that every year. And Amazon Prime is a subscription, and people will pay that every year to get it going. And so those tend to have longer. Your software as a service, your service ones tend to go a little longer, just because people need them to run their businesses or run their homes or play their games or whatever, right? So those tend to have a much longer retention than, say, a more physical one. But that doesn't mean you can't retain physical, especially if you have an awesome product, right? If it's something you truly believe in and you can prove that it's an awesome product, you can keep those customers long-term as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And the fun thing with subscriptions is you have easy content every month, right? So you can create content that educates and excites. And we saw this with the rise of unboxing videos, right? Yeah. So if you have a subscription to, let's say, BarkBox, and you do an unboxing every time the BarkBox box comes in, and you show your dogs the toys and their reactions and things like that, those are gold videos, right? And then you're also able to promote BarkBox as you're doing it, talk about why you love it, talk about why your pets love it, etc. If you have super chewers like I do, which is kind of what BarkBox was designed for, you can show your previous month's toys and how good or bad shape they're still in. You can do comparisons with others, reviews, tutorials, all those kind of stuff. So unboxings and the subscriptions are fantastic for that kind of content.
Yeah, and it gives you an opportunity to also explain to the people that you're reaching out to, whether you're doing it in a blog or you're doing it through video, why you still pay for the service. You're doing it, right? And why are you still doing it? Why do you continue to purchase this product or this service or this thing, this education or whatever it is? Why are you still doing it? Because now you're connecting with people and explaining to them why you see such value in it, which is awesome, right? You can lean into it. I tried it for 3 months and here's what happened. It's an easy way to build your content. Especially if you're doing something like skincare or health and wellness product or something that's going to streamline your business. These are all reasons things that you can say before and afters in a sense, and how your journey's been, and documenting your journey while you're doing it is another simple, easy content promo thing. And then you want to also email nurture, right? So if you're getting people into your email list, you want to make sure that, people don't generally subscribe after their first email, right? Or their first click. So you want to make sure you're staying present and giving them the updates. Make it more personal. Maybe your content is one thing, but your email list is where you are providing more tips and tricks how to use or those kinds of things, right? So,
Excuse me. Yeah, it costs about 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to keep an existing one, according to Harvard Business Review. So that is really, really cool.
yeah.
And of course, you benefit if you're an affiliate because it helps reduce the churn with your content, but also, again, helps you not necessarily have to hustle as much, right? 4 years ago, it was hustle, hustle, hustle. And then in the last year or so, we've kind of switched gears where it's been like, but I'm not in this to hustle. I'm in this to work a couple hours and then enjoy my life, right?
Yeah.
This is not about work-life balance at this point. It's work-life integration. So, the hustle culture has kind of dropped off, which is good, I think. But again, having that recurring income, you're getting continually paid for the hustling you were doing or the enjoyment you now have just because you're doing it.
Yeah. And
so
that's the nice thing about it too. I think personally is that you get to show off something that you enjoy, that's benefited your life in some way and continues to do so. So it makes it a lot easier to promote something when you feel that way. And like I say, it doesn't matter if it's health and wellness or if it's beauty or if it's a software or it's a service that you have, having that recurring, knowing that it's coming in really makes it easier for you to enjoy what you're doing and makes it easier for you to create content around what you're doing because you do actually enjoy it, right? So all of those things come together very nicely.
Yeah. So there's a few ways you can do it, right? So one person who's very good at this is Kara Corey. I've talked about her before. I love her. She's a fitness influencer, but she also works at the Grounds app. And so she's also a registered dietitian. And she's getting ready to run the Boston Marathon for the third time. I mean, the girl's insane. But so she's partnered with a couple of different businesses. So as a fitness coach, she's got the digital workout app. She's got recipes that she does. She's got athletic wear that she's affiliated with. She's got a supplement company that she's affiliated with. And so she's built that all into like a one pack kind of thing, right? My top, whatever kind of thing. And so that's the kind of stuff you can do. Like if you're trying to sell your program, but then you're also affiliated with all these other things, you can bundle that all together. And now instead of just selling your fitness class, you're also making money off these other 3 things that you do already.
Yeah, and you'll see that also with coaching, especially if you're talking about life coaching or professional coaching, where you're helping people gain that perspective, get over some internal blocks and all those kinds of things. You'll have some recurring there, but a lot of times that also has a limit. But at the same time, they can offer speaking classes, they can offer workbooks and stuff like that. They can offer some one-on-ones versus group things, all those things that they can build around and build their business out onto it. And it's still all service based, but at the same time, they've hired people to handle some of the stuff, and because they've managed to do that and they know what they're doing because they can budget out beyond just what their basics are. Well, I know I'm going to try and make 10 sales this month, right? Or 15 sales this month. Or if you're a real hustler, 30 sales this month, and then you collapse at the end of it, because that's where a lot of burnout comes from, right? You're so busy chasing that one thing, right? You're so busy chasing that one more customer to get that one lump payment that by the time you're done, even if you have an amazing month, so many high ticket people who do really well still dump out after 3-4 months because they're just burnt out.
Yeah.
The goal is to make money without burning out. You're trying to replace your income, not.
Yes. And replace your income so that you can enjoy your life, not so that you're tied to the computer and your cell phone making content all the time, right? I love making content, don't get me wrong, but it is a very small percentage of what I do during the day because a lot of thought out content, I should say. I make a lot of content throughout my day just because the dogs do cute stuff or like, I'm doing an impromptu ice bath, stuff like that. But that's where work-life integration is amazing, right? Because your content's just there naturally. instead of sitting here with a script and figuring it out and putting a teleprompter up and doing a bunch of TikTok dances and stuff. So, which if that's your jam, awesome, go for it. There's a lot of really creative cosplayers or people on TikTok who don't show their face but do very elaborate costumes. That has to take a while, and props to you guys. But that's not me. I'm not patient enough to do it, right? And so I'm not going to do that for the sake of TikTok and not be authentic to myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And you see it with the artists. And I mean, the nice thing about content, whether you're doing unboxings or you're talking about, you can make a long piece and cut it down, just like recurring, repurposing. These that we want we want the be able to break it down and utilize every portion of it multiple times. And like we say with all content, repetition is important, right? So don't feel like, oh, I posted that yesterday, I can't post that today. Oh, hell yeah, you can.
And you can post it next month, and then you can post it the month after. And that's the beauty of evergreen content, is it's kind of your recurring, income, but it's your recurring for what you're talking about. So even there, you can reuse it all you want.
Yeah. So, I mean, you want to look for programs that have a solid retention and good commissions, because the commissions do slide all over the place. So you want to make sure that whatever you're getting into is going to be worth the amount of effort, because it does still take time to make the sales and get those customers in and get them signed up. That's your first task. And when you're first doing it, building up that first 10 to 20 is still going to be work, right? It's still going to be hard work, because that's your base. And then you can slow down a little bit. Then you can start building it out, right? But if you've got 200 people who throughout the year who are giving you $100 a month, you're starting to build that up, and you're building it up and building it up. Some subscriptions are a lot more than that, but it depends on what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure that you're building that up, and that the products or services that you're choosing are going to pay you, so that you're not putting a lot of effort into something that's just not going to make it worth it for you, right?
Yeah. And pay attention to if they have sales minimums or anything like that, because that can kick you in the butt. Just throwing that out there.
Absolutely. And also make sure you're looking at your contracts to make sure that they don't have any non-compete, where if you have them, you can't add something into it that you feel would be a good fit, but then they make it so that you can't. You don't want to be limited that way. I understand maybe not being able to sell to hosting companies, but at the same time, like, you should be able to mix and match to make sure that you've got the most within your brand. Because the whole point of this is, especially when you're doing recurring, is you're going to start building a brand instead of just selling a product or a service. You're building a brand and putting some things together so that you have 3 or 4 multiple, recurring incomes as well as one-offs that are helping to build your business and build your financial base. And it's important to note that the average subscriber stays about 12 months. That's 12 commissions per person that signs up. And like we said, some products, they are lower, but this is the average overall. And that's actually a fairly recent stat from 2024. So every time that you get somebody who signs up, say you're thinking 10 months. So that's every person's going to be giving you that much money. So they're going to give you your high ticket income that you would have made off a one-off sale. But now you've got 10 of those people doing the same thing, and you don't have to go and chase everybody down. You can just keep adding a new person, a new person, a new person. I mean, if you think about it, if you only added one new person every month, you'd always have at least 12 people going on.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So,
yeah. So basically, if you don't want to burn out, if you want long-term stability and financial freedom, recurring income is a really good way to make that happen. Again, it takes a lot of the stress off of you. It gives you, if it's a physical product, and I think like a box subscription that gets sent to you, it gives you automatic content every month. If you have a YouTube channel and you put it on YouTube, people who know when you post those will be looking for it. And so then you've got stability across your social media platforms as well. Again, look for things that have a good retention rate and solid commissions. You know, if it's a $1 commission, it's probably not going to be really worth it. But if it's 10% or 20% and it's on a higher ticket item, then that's pretty darn good. And then you build your content and bonuses and whatnot around that. And again, you can even, Facebook groups, we like to joke that they're dead, but they're really not. You can build a Facebook community around, I really love BarkBox and I get the subscription. If you want to see it, here you go. Or if you want to talk about, different things or who's excited about the next drop, things like that. So there's lots of ways to build that community and build that content.
Yep. And that goes for any kind of content, like we say, whether you're an artist, you're showing off your stuff, or you're selling softwares that are going to help people streamline their businesses. You can promote new advances or new features that come out, those kind of things, right? So it doesn't really matter in terms of the type of subscription, as long as it's giving you back what you need and you like what it is, so that you can confidently and authentically promote it. I mean, we're all about authenticity. I wouldn't suggest trying to sell a subscription to something that you've never tried. I mean, we have a lot of affiliate where the people will toss things in, and that's fine. Like, you're not going to buy absolutely everything, but when it comes to subscriptions, because you're looking for a long-term customer, I think it's extra important that you do actually try the product that you're selling and that you do have a connection with it and that it does help you in some way, because it's going to make all the rest of that work around it so much easier.
Yeah. And you can utilize your friends and family too, though. Like, obviously I'm not going to promote a men's specific subscription box that I'm not using, but if I can get my significant other on it, then I can talk about it and get that perspective. So there are ways, but I mean, if no one in your house golfs, then you're probably not going to be picking up a subscription to some sort of golf related products, because you have no knowledge, you have no interest, and it's just a waste of your time. It doesn't matter how much money it offers you, because you're not going to be able to promote it with any level of authenticity. So unless you're promoting it as, I want to learn this.
Yeah.
And you go from there, because that could be a lot of fun, especially if you don't know what things are called, because people on the internet love to correct other people.
Yeah, and that's part of
there's something there.
that would fall back into the part of where learn with me as I do, right? Yeah. And that's a great way to build content. So if there is something new that you want to try, that's a great way to do it, especially with a subscription box, because now you're learning with me or watch me as I grow kind of thing. But yeah, basically, if you're tired of always chasing that next sale just so that you actually have income, which is going to be gone by the time you pay your bills and not coming back, then subscriptions and recurring incomes are definitely the way that you want to go. And even if you love doing the one-off sales, I would still suggest adding subscriptions. If you look at every top affiliate marketer, the ones that are making millions upon millions of dollars, they do it through subscriptions. Russell Brunson, he does subscriptions. They all do. So you want to make sure that you are adding that, because it is a tried and true method, and it's where the actual bread and butter lies. And it allows you to plan for your future versus not. So that's it.
Yeah, and paid communities, those are subscriptions, whether it's school, whether it's a paid community on Facebook, whether it's a paid subscription on your YouTube, your Instagram, any of those are all recurring income. Yep. And so even if you don't have a product, if you have knowledge that you're like, I share this knowledge for free, but this knowledge I think really needs to be for the more serious people who are going to understand the value, you can paywall it across various social media platforms. So
yep, absolutely. And as you're building and growing, you get more and more subscribers. I see it all the time, even with astrology on YouTube, right? They do a lot of free readings, but they also have their groups or their paywalled areas where they're teaching you how to read your cards or read the stars or get, a lot of them don't actually do readings. They're more about teaching you how to do the thing yourself. So don't think that it has to be something super serious or super common. There's space for every single one of you, no matter what it is your interests are. Definitely there's going to be something there for you. You just have to be willing to take a look and see how you can build it for yourself. So next week,
we're talking about cloak and dagger. No, I'm just kidding. We are talking about affiliate link cloaking and what some best practices and misconceptions about it are.
Which is good, because we always try to hide that stuff. But I mean, why are we hiding it? And what benefit is it? So
yeah. And is it actually hiding, or is it just making it pretty?
Yeah, and I mean that's the reality of it, right? We're not trying to scam anybody, although some people are, right? So, and we'll be touching on that as well.
Yes.
All right, everyone. Bye.
If you found this helpful, please drop a comment, share, and hit that subscribe button. Your feedback is super helpful in growing this channel.
And of course, if you have any questions or if there's any specific thing that you would like us to talk about, drop that in the comments too. Happy Friday!
Happy Friday, everyone.